Welcome all. In this tutorial, I'm going to review some basic concepts, how to create a new project in SAS Enterprise Miner. And if you remember, we will be opening SAS Enterprise Miner workstation client. And it should not matter whether you have 14.x, 12.x, or 13.x. The interface should be pretty similar. Okay. So in this tutorial, we'll create a new project as well as try to create our own libraries. Let's get started. So to create a new project, this is the opening screen from the Enterprise Miner. Click on new project. Specify a project name. I'm going to say Data Explorer. So assume that I'm creating a project to explore data. Okay. And I'm going to specify the folder where I want to store this project. Okay. Before we get there, I just wanted to show you very quickly the directory structure. So you can see that I've created a folder called DM data and a separate folder called DM project. And DM project at the moment has nothing stored in here. This is where I can create a series of projects, separate projects. Okay. And the data folder at the moment has one data set. Okay. And please note that I'm creating the projects in a different folder and the data, putting the data in a separate folder. You don't want the data folder inside the project folder. Okay. So two separate folders on my computer, and I'm going to be specifying this path as the area where I want to create and store my projects. Okay. So I've specified the path. You have the project name. Let's go to the next step. So here's the second screen, new project created under this folder structure. So I'm going to finish, and now we have ourselves a new project. Okay. And if you did everything correctly, so you see the screen with the project name here, specifies what data sources you might work with, what diagrams you want to create, and model packages. For our class, we are only dealing with the first two here. And if you remember, diagrams specify process flow. Each diagram can have multiple process flows, meaning I can export data, I can run multiple models, right? So this is a way for me to group similar data analysis programs in one area. Okay. And each project can have multiple diagrams, and of course each project can also have multiple data sources. Okay. So what I'm going to do is create a diagram. I'm going to call it Data Explorer, and if you want, you can call it Boston, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'll call it Boston because I'm going to be working with Boston data set. Okay. And I say okay, and I should have a new diagram that should open up. It should be empty. Assuming that the diagram is created, the project is already there. I just wanted to take you back to this project folder where I created my new project, Data Explorer, right? This is the name of the project. And you'll notice that SAS Enterprise Miner had created a whole bunch of folders, and diagrams you draw might be stored under workspaces. The point is, you don't really have to worry about this, but here's the project, and SAS Enterprise Miner is hiding a lot of complexity under the hood. Okay. And this is being stored under this folder. All right. And here you have your Boston diagram. Now, what I would like to do is bring in the Boston data set. We do not have the data set, so we may have to create a new library. Okay. So before we create a new library, let's see what SAS Enterprise Miner has made available for us. I can just simply create a new data source, and it's going to open up a help screen, and I can navigate my way through the screen. It's asking me what table, in this case, what this means, what data source I want to use. I can browse, pick the multiple libraries that SAS has. Some of them, you notice, has multiple data sets. We actually use this CARS data set, I think, in one of these classes. So we can bring in, if you choose to, we can use existing libraries provided by SAS and bring in any of these data sets. Each of these libraries, this data set has, this library, SAS Help has, as you notice, lots of data sets. Work has 2 data sets. This doesn't seem to have any data set. Okay. But you have lots of existing data sets that you can work with. All right. So I'm going to cancel out of here. What I really want to do is I want to create my own library. Okay. That will contain the data sets that I want to work with. So what I'm going to do in SAS is that I'm going to create a library that is going to point to a folder that contains the data sets that I want to use. And if you remember at this moment, I'm going to be pointing to this folder, which has 1 data sets. Okay. And if I add more data sets, let's say, I add more data sets to work, then the library that I create, I'm going to call it, let's say nklib, will be pointing to this folder. You will have access to as many data sets as you choose to put here. Okay. So let's move on. Here I'm going to cancel out and try to create, before creating a data source, I'm going to try to create my own library that has the data sets that I want to work with. Okay. So let me cancel out. Yes, I don't want to cancel this. And let me create a new library that will have the data sets I want to work with. So new library. It's going to open up this help screen or the wizard screen. So in this case, what I want to do is create a new library. Okay. And I can call it, as I mentioned, I'm going to call it nklib. You can choose to call it anything else that you want, something descriptive that you'll remember. This is the library that's going to point to that folder with all the data sets that you want to use. Okay, at least for this project. So here's a folder that I want to point to. Just select the folder. You're basically telling SAS that this folder has all the data that you want, right? At the moment, there's only 1, and then go to the next step. Okay. So you can see that the library was created. So I'm going to click finish.